Good afternoon. Welcome to TV Eskwela. I am Teacher Leizl Mag-aso from Compostela National High School, Senior High, Compostela East District. I will introduce to you the core competency of shielded metal arc welding, welding carbon steel plate using SMAW. But today, our focus will be the welding defects. For today's objectives, you should be able to identify the welding defects, causes, and remedy. Appreciate the importance of identifying welding defects. For us to start, let me introduce to you what is our subject SMAW is all about. What is shielded metal arc welding? Shielded metal arc welding is an arc welding process in which fusing of metals is produced by heat from an electric arc that is maintained between the tip of a consumable covered electrode. If it is made of metal, it can be welded from cars to planes and bridges to buildings. Welding keeps our economy moving. For this time, our lesson for today is welding defects. At this moment, I want you to get your module Shielded Metal Arc Welding, Quarter 1, Module 1, Lesson 1.5. Welding defects, causes, and remedy. At the end of this session, you are expected to identify the weld defects, causes, and remedy. Appreciate the importance of identifying welding defects. Do you have already your module? Okay, that's great! For us to start, open your module, page 26 to 32. It's all about weld defects, causes, and remedy. What is welding defects? Welding defects are generated in a welding job due to the faulty or poor technique. Welding defects are broadly classified into two categories, and these are: first, external welding defects. Defects occur on the upper surface of the welded work. Second, internal welding defects. Defects occur under the surface of the welded work. I have here with me a pipe, and I will show to you the external weld defects and internal weld defects. Defects occur on the upper surface of the welded is external defect. So, makikita mo sa loob ng pipe ang defects. Let's proceed. Under the external defect, we have here weld crack. This is the most unwanted defect of all the other welding defects. Crack can also appear at different temperatures. Hot crack. It may happen during welding. Cold crack. Type of crack occur at the end of the welding process, where the temperature is quite low. Sometimes cold crack is visible in several hours after welding or even after a few days. Causes of weld crack. Number 1. Poor ductility of given base metal. Number 2. The presence of residual stress can cause a crack on a weld metal. Number 3. The rigidity of the joint, which make it difficult to expand or contract the metals. Number 4. If there is high content of sulfur and carbon, then also the crack may appear. Remedies for weld crack. Number 1. Using appropriate materials may decrease the chances of crack. Number 2. Preheating the weld and reducing the cooling speed helps in reducing crack. Number 3. Reduce the gap between the weld joints by using reasonable weld joints. Second defect, undercut. When the base metal melts away from the weld zone, then a groove is formed in the shape of knots. Then, this type of defect is known as undercut. Causes of undercut. Number 1. If the arc voltage is very high, then this defect may occur. Number 2. If you use the wrong electrode, or if the angle of the electrode is wrong, then the defect may form. Number 3. Using a large electrode is also not advisable. Number 4. High electrode speed is also one of the reasons for this defect. Remedies for undercut. Number 1. Reduce the arc length or lower the arc voltage. Number 2. Keep the electrode angle from 30 to 45 degrees with a standing leg. Number 3. The diameter of the electrode should be small. Number 4. Reduce the travel speed of the electrode. Third defect, spatter. When some metal drops are expelled from the weld and remain stuck to the surface, then this defect is known as spatter. Causes of spatter. Number 1. High welding current can cause this defect. Number 2. The longer the arc, the more chances of getting this defect. Number 3. Incorrect polarity. Number 4. Improper gas shielding may also cause this defect. Remedies for spatter. Number 1. Reducing the arc length and welding current. Number 2. Using the right polarity and according to the condition of the welding. Number 3. Increasing the plate angle and using the proper gas shielding. Fourth defect, porosity, refers to small cavities or holes resulting from gas packets and weld metal. Causes of porosity. Number 1. It occurs when the electrode is not coated properly. Number 2. Using a longer arc may also increase its chances. Number 3. Increase the welding currents. Number 4. Rust or oil on the welding surface. Remedies for porosity. Number 1. Proper selection of electrode. Number 2. Decreasing the welding current. Number 3. Using smaller arc and slowing the process to allow the gases to escape. Number 4. Remove rust or oil from the surface and use a proper technique. 5th defect. Overlap. When the weld face extends beyond the weld tube, then this defect occurs. In this condition, the weld metal rolls and forms an angle less than 90 degrees. Causes of overlap. Number 1. Improper welding technique. Number 2. Using large electrode, this defect may occur. Number 3. High welding current. Remedies for overlap. Number 1. Use a proper technique for welding. Number 2. Use a small electrode. Number 3. Less welding current. 6th defect. Distortion. Distortion means construction of weld metal during welding that forces base metal to move. Causes of distortion. Number 1. A great number of passes with small diameter electrodes. Number 2. Slow arc travel speed. Number 3. High residual stresses in the plate to be welded. Number 4. Using improper welding sequences. Remedies of distortion. Number 1. Use the proper amount of weld metal as per the requirement of the joint. Number 2. Use an appropriate number of weld passes. Number 3. Place the weld near the neutral axis. Number 4. Use the proper welding sequences. 7th defect. Burn through. Refers to the weld metal melting completely through the base metal, resulting in holes where no metal remains. Cause of burn through. Excessive heat input. Remedies of burn through. Number 1. Select lower amperage. Use smaller electrode. Number 2. Increase and/or maintain steady travel speed. Now, for the second category. Internal welding defects. Number 1. Slag inclusion. If there is any slag in the weld, then it affects the toughness and weldability of the material. This decreases the structural performance of the weld material. Slag is formed on the surface of the weld or between the welding turns. Causes of slag inclusion. Number 1. Slag is formed if the welding current density is very small. Number 2. If the welding speed is too fast, then also slag may occur. Number 3. If the edge of the weld surface is not cleaned properly, then also slag may form. Number 4. Improper welding angle and travel rate of the welding rod. Remedies for slag inclusion. Number 1. Increase the current density. Adjust the welding speed so that the slag and weld pool do not mix with each other. Number 2. Clean the weld edges and remove the slag of previous weld layer. Number 3. Have a proper electrode angle and travel rate. Second, internal defects. Incomplete fusion. Incomplete fusion occurs when the welder does not accurately weld the material and the metal pre-solidifies, which lead to a gap which is not filled with the molten metal. Causes of incomplete fusion. Number 1. It occurs because of the low heat input. Number 2. When the weld pool is very large and runs ahead of the arc. Number 3. When the angle of the joint is too low. Number 4. Incorrect electrode and torch angle may also lead to the incomplete fusion. Number 5. Improper bead position. Remedies for incomplete fusion. Number 1. Increase the welding current and decreasing the travel speed helps in removing the chances of incomplete fusion. Number 2. Reducing the deposition rate. Number 3. Increasing the joint angle. Number 4. Try to position the electrode and the torch angle properly so that the edges of the plate melt away. Number 3. Incomplete filled groove or incomplete penetration. This defect occurs only in the butt welds, where the groove of the metal is not filled completely. It is also called as incomplete penetration defect. Causes of an incomplete filled groove. Number 1. Less deposition of the weld metal. Number 2. Use of improper size of electrode. Number 3. Improper welding technique. Remedies for incomplete filled groove. Number 1. More deposition of the weld metal. Number 2. Use a proper size of the electrode. Number 3. Using a proper welding technique. To wrap up our topic today, open your module on page 26 to 32. The two types of weld defects are external defects and internal defects. In external, there are many types of weld defects. Number 1. Weld crack. Number 2. Undercut. Number 3. Overlap. Number 4. Distortion. Number 5. Burn through. And internal defects are: Number 1. Slag inclusion. Number 2. Incomplete fusion. Number 3. Incomplete penetration. To check what you have learned from lesson given, answer self-check 1.5 on your module, page 33. Please follow the instruction. I hope all of you are enjoying while learning to our lesson today. Once again, I am Leizl Mag-aso from Compostela National High School, Senior High School, Compostela East District, saying, dito sa TV Eskwela, sa pag-aaral, sama-sama! Bye-bye!